Thank you.
Live is on. Hello, welcome everyone. Happy Saturday and welcome to Jus Chatting with me, Donna E.G. Haugen, where we are just chatting with our friends about super interesting things. And today I am more than thrilled to have with us Alexia Bjarkan. I think I said that right. Okay.
Perfect.
And thank you, Alexia. And I'm just going to tell a little bit about this beautiful woman who came into my life last year. We met in Costa Rica. We were both there on a healing journey using plant medicines, ayahuasca, to go inside and heal and get in touch with the universe. And that's where we met. And then we went to the Biohacking conference in Los Angeles last year. She is an international keto coach. She was living in Dubai when I met her. She's fascinating. And then she fell in love with Costa Rica, and then bam, she just moved there. And so she is live right now from her adorable place in Costa Rica, which I haven't been to yet, but I'm excited to go someday soon. Alexia, welcome. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Donna. I'm great, and I'm so excited to be on your show. Yay!
Yay! I'm so excited to have you. So tell me, how is it down there? What's going on? What's the temperature like with people and their energy and their moods with what's happening in the world?
Well, this is a good place to be because, to be honest, life here was, before isolation, was very similar to what it's now, because I live in a rural area. Maybe you can't really see the jungle outside of my window, but it's jungle. I'm living close to the beach. It's only like 70 people in this community where I live, so not much happening as usual. So that's good. And Costa Rica has been very blessed. It hasn't been too bad with COVID. So I'm lucky to be here.
That's wonderful. Well, you look fantastic. You're just glowing. So living in a blue zone, people, right?
Yeah.
Just chill and all of that. So tell us a little bit. I know I shared with everyone that we're going to be talking about keto because she's such a fantastic keto coach, people, like seriously. And so if you have any questions, we may or may not be able to answer them now. If I can try to read them, I'm on a new platform, so I may be able to do that. I do have some questions, burning questions, keto questions. But before we start about keto, tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you happen to come upon keto and it has become a way of life for you?
It was coincidence, actually. First, my background in terms of health is that I used to suffer from binge eating for many, many years. Started in my teenage and then up and, I guess 10 years, something like that. And that had really devastating effects on my health, both physically, the usual with bloating, stomach issues, acne, and so on. But even worse was how it affected me mentally. But I didn't really know the connection back then. But I had mood swings, depressions, insomnia. And it was actually so bad that I was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder and put on a very heavy medication in my early 20s. And I'm 33 now, just to give you an idea. And
you still look 20.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Very kind of you. I guess I am a biohacker at heart, just like you, because I tried so many things to try to fix myself and nothing worked much. And I just got sicker and sicker. My rock bottom was ending up in a psych ward, wanting to kill myself because that's how, I was like, I'm hopeless. There's nothing that can fix me.
Oh,
yeah. And then
it's
luckily,
devastating. Trust me, I've dealt with a lot of mind issues and depression and mood swings myself throughout my life. So I totally relate to what you're saying.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And it's just, being on the other side now, it's like, bloody hell, it's so unnecessary, right?
Yes.
It's mind-boggling. But anyway, so luckily I managed to get out of there from the psych ward and continue my search. And just by coincidence, actually from listening to your podcast, I came across this amazing health drink called Bulletproof Coffee that I know you have questions about. Yeah. So, and I drank it, and it was really from the very first cup that I felt that, wow, I'm onto something finally. And I started researching about the subject. I realized there was a whole way of eating, which I now know is keto, and also many other natural hacks for health. And I started doing as much as I could, as quickly as I could, and my whole life, my health, my body, my whole life totally transformed as a result. And that was in a matter of weeks. It was very, very quick.
Wow.
So so all of those symptoms that I mentioned to you, like the insomnia, the mood swings, depression, everything disappeared. And the extra kilos, of course, just melted away, which was very exciting. Because I literally felt like a whale before with all my binge eating.
Yeah, well, and the antidepressants, I know, or different medications, they slow us down completely, everything about us, and the weight as well, and we become numb. And so I know what you're saying, and you're just like, you can't really lose it, and you think you have to be on the pills. So that's profound.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's anything that would make you go depressed, it is to gain weight, right? So it makes no sense to me how that works. But
bingo.
Anyway, so yeah. So basically my doctor realized that I didn't have bipolar disorder. I wasn't crazy. I got off all the medication and really started feeling happy for, I guess, maybe the first time in my life, and really energetic and excited about life. Finally, I wanted to really live. And that gave me that realization, like, wow, I can't believe all of this happened just because of a diet switch. It was so, the solution was so simple. And back then I was living in London. I was in a corporate career, but I was like, I have to help others do the same, because there must be so much unnecessary suffering just because people don't know how to eat well. So I quit my corporate career, trained to be a keto coach. And since then, so that was a few years ago now, since then I've been traveling. Like you said, I was in Dubai up until last year. I was working at a medical clinic there, helping people get fit and healthy on keto. And now, you know, nature called me and I moved to Costa Rica. So now I'm working online with clients all over the world.
All over the world. That is so fascinating. And I'm sure most of my listeners are probably on similar journeys. It may not be depression or things like that, but with weight, mood swings, sleeping. And we all know that our body can heal, right? It can heal itself if we are giving it the proper tools. So I know about keto, and there's paleo, and there's so many, and I have all the books stacked up. But for myself, I tend to just stay away from carbs. I do Bulletproof. I eat organic. I eat clean. I don't have a big weight problem. I have had weight in the past. I'm actually up 5 now. I don't know if it's a quarantine 5 or not, but you know, but yes. So a little bit of weight doesn't hurt sometimes as well, you know, as the older we get. But so many people are dealing with that. And keto is a fantastic way to go into ketosis, right? Drop the weight fast. And, you know, truthfully, I didn't know that it could be as healing as what you're describing. So that's fascinating. Now, do you stay on keto 365, like every day? Like, so you don't go like on keto for 4 weeks and then I go off for a couple of days. You're just straight keto?
Yeah, only when I talk about it in podcasts. No, that's a great question. So actually, that's one of the hacks that are very important to be successful on keto in the long term. Because yes, keto has, and ketosis, which is the metabolic state that when you're burning fat for fuel. That's the whole point with, well, that's the goal of keto, basically.
Correct.
That has many amazing health benefits, like losing weight automatically and feeling better and anti-inflammatory and all that. However, a lot of people, especially us women, we don't do well if we're in ketosis all of the time. We need some good carbs, some clean carbs, some of the time to function optimally, health-wise. So that's why I'm doing a cyclical keto diet.
Cyclical keto. Okay.
Yeah, which is the Bulletproof protocol. And basically, it's eating some good, clean, bulletproof carbs like sweet potato or white rice about once a week for dinner. And that way you refeed carbs into the system, and then next day just continue with the keto plan as usual. And going in and out of ketosis that way helps you be able to do it in the long term.
So in my mind, like keto was no carbs. Like, so I don't eat refined carbs. I don't eat junk carbs. I don't eat bad carbs, but some people don't even know what that means. So we have good carbs, we have bad carbs. And so with keto, you don't have a little bit of carb with every meal. You're limiting, say, like the sweet potato or the white rice, not brown rice, people. That's another hack that most people don't know, how hard it is for us to digest brown rice, correct?
Yeah, totally. It's very toxic.
Yeah. So you're saying twice a week at one meal is when you're having once a week.
Yeah.
At one meal.
Yeah, that's later on once you have become fat adapted, meaning you're like more the keto pro. So for beginners, maybe to keep it simple, just take away all carbs. However, I mean that's just to keep it very simple.
Yeah.
But there is carbs in most foods, like for instance broccoli. There's some carbs, so you don't have to. It's not about zero carbs, but you can have some, but just not an excess of carbs, because that's when your body is using glucose for energy, and that's when you're not burning the excess fat in your body. Okay. So should I maybe give you an example of a meal just to make it more clear?
Yeah, that would be great. And then I do to add that question is that are red things carbs? But yes, I would love, I'm sure all of our viewers, the thousands that are out there, we want to know. Give us an example, please.
Great. All right. So let's I can share a normal day in my life. And that this is a standard kind of menu that I normally put my clients on. So first of all, I combine keto with intermittent fasting. Do you do intermittent fasting yourself?
I've done that for years without knowing it. It's how my body works. So I typically don't. I've never really eaten breakfast. So, and then I added the Bulletproof last spring. So that's really easy for me. So yes, intermittent fasting. Okay, good.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, just really quickly, fasting is basically how we evolved as a species. We're not meant to be eating 24/7, snacking, a lot of processed food and so on. That's why we have so many health issues in modern society. So to get rid of those, we need to go back to more natural eating, and intermittent fasting is a very good way to do that, meaning that we switch between periods of eating, periods of fasting. And that could mean that you have an eating window of 6 hours. Science shows that's when you get the most health benefits. So
we eat for 6.
Yes. So if you have lunch, say at 1 p.m., then you have your last meal 6 hours later at 7 p.m. And that gives your body a break between 7 p.m. all night and then to the next day at 1 p.m. when you have your lunch. Okay, so you're fasting for 18 hours. And that, hopefully that makes sense to most people that, wow, you are going to lose your weight when you do that, right?
Absolutely. And it's so good for your body. It causes, what did you say? Autophagy? Autophagy, which is a cellular death, right? Your cells eat the other bad cells, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like cell renewal, as I understand it. Yeah.
Yes, so that's very cool. So, and in order for you to be able to do this, that's where the Bulletproof Coffee comes in. So in the morning, instead of breakfast, you're having this Bulletproof Coffee, which she'll explain, and it's not breaking your fast.
Exactly. Well, it depends on your definition of fast. I mean, some people would say, any calories means you're breaking the fast. However, I'm sure you're aware of insulin, the fat storing hormone. Yeah. So when we eat something, a meal, insulin gets released, and that is telling the body to put on fat. But if we eat fat, that doesn't trigger insulin. And a bulletproof cup of coffee, which is 3 ingredients, Bulletproof Coffee, an oil called brain Octane, and grass-fed butter or ghee. That is just pure fat. So when you're drinking that, your insulin stays the same. So that means that you're basically tricking the body into thinking it's still fasting from the night before. So you get most of the benefits from fasting, but you get energy and satiation from the Bulletproof Coffee until lunchtime. So imagine this. You're drinking the Bulletproof Coffee in the morning, then you're feeling full until lunchtime. Then you have a lovely, satiating and delicious keto meal. And then you're feeling full until dinner time. You do the same. You have a great, tasty keto meal again. You're feeling full in the evening. Then you're sleeping. In the morning, you're drinking the coffee again. And that way, you never have to starve yourself. You never have to white knuckling it. It's not a diet as such, starvation diet. But you're enjoying yourself. You're keeping energetic and satiated. But all while you're feeling, but while you're dropping the excess weight and improving your health.
Improving your health. So, and what does your meal look like? So we've had our Bulletproof Coffee in the morning. Now it's say 1 o'clock-ish. What do you have to eat?
So I keep it really simple. I'm not a master chef. I eat the same pretty much every day. And that is an avocado I have with each meal. That's
Yummy.
because the whole point with there are two things you need to remember to succeed on keto. One, not eat too many carbs, and two, eat enough fats, because you need fats that's what's going to be your fuel source in the body. So avocado is a great way to just add up the fats, basically. And it's nice, right?
And when she says healthy fats, excuse me, when she says fats, she means healthy fats, people. Not saturated fat, not canola oil, not palm oil. Really be careful. We want good, healthy fats, correct?
Thank you for saying that. That's super, because that is what maybe the number one reason why people go wrong on keto or on any diet, because they think, oh, this is the rule. I'll just have to, throw out the carbs, lots of fat, and then they don't think about the quality. But the quality is the what's most important.
Yes.
Like you said, vegetable oils, that's so toxic. So just to give a few examples of healthy fats: avocado, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, ghee, which is anti-inflammatory, unlike other types of dairy. So quality is super important. So avocado, then so you always think, when you put together a meal, you think high fat, some protein, and vegetables. So
Vegetables.
I would say half the plate with vegetables, actually.
Perfect.
And good keto vegetables are broccoli or cauliflower, because they are high in fiber, which is then you get away with some of the carbs, because fiber doesn't count, because it does get digested by the body. So half the plate with the vegetables like broccoli, then an avocado and a piece of fish. That's an example.
Beautiful.
Of lunch. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice,
Lovely.
right? Yeah, and it's all like real food, like nothing strange about it, nothing complicated.
Right.
And also you need to eat, this is very important, that yes, counting macros, counting the grams of because like I said, you need to make sure you're not exceeding the carb limit and hitting your fat target. So some counting is good in the beginning. However, keto is about eating as nature intended, and you don't have to obsess about calories or grams or anything, but eat until you feel full and then stop, and that's it. I know that can be a challenge in the beginning if you're used to junk food and so on, but that's basically how it works. Then you don't have to snack if you don't want to. You're meant to go in between for 6 hours without eating. Is that
so
what
you
do?
could that's pretty much how I eat. And sometimes I just do one meal a day, or I'll have the avocado on these little seed crackers that are only about 8 grams of carbs. If I was truly trying to jump into big ketosis, I'm thinking I'd probably drop those too, because there's an app you can get on your phone. It's free, and you can put in all your foods and you can track and see how many carbs you're getting. And if it's amazing, after you do that for about 3 days, you'll be like, whoa. So that's about how I eat. My curiosity though is with red food. is a red food a higher carb? And I suppose I could click them all into my app and see, but it seems like for some reason they want us to not have tomatoes, red peppers. What are your thoughts on that?
So tomato and red peppers, that's a nightshade family, it's called,
Okay.
which can be inflammatory. So it's like an anti-nutrient, meaning that they can stop us from absorbing other nutrients. So that's why, to be on the safe side, regardless of the carb count, and again, that comes back to what you were saying, it doesn't matter if something is low carb or high fat or whatever. It's a quality that counts and what it's doing to our bodies. So I always recommend stay away from those kind of anything that can be inflammatory. Yeah.
Oh, good point. Okay, so then so we've had lunch now. For those people, like if they're easing into this, or they're like, because sometimes when we put it in our mind that we're going to eat a certain way, we freak out. Like our mind freaks out. Like, I can't do that. So would they maybe in the afternoons, would it be okay to have 6 raw almonds, or maybe like a little palm full of blueberries? I believe are one of the least sugary fruits that you can have. And how do you feel about fruit? How does that fit into keto? So first, what would be a little something they could grab if they're feeling like I need a little snack, before they get used to it?
No, that's a very good point. And I think, I agree with you. It's so important to take part of that, take care of the mental part of the health weight loss journey, because, it's not going to work if someone's going to feel deprived or that they are being restricted, right? So definitely you are allowed to have snacks if you want to. You don't have to, but that is where it's important for a beginner, I think, to track what you're eating. So maybe you're using the same app as me, like the Chronometer app. Is that the one?
I haven't done it in a while. I was using it. I was more concerned about protein when I was training before we start staying at home. And my trainers keep saying Donna, you need more protein. And I have a special situation because I'm not making hormones. I'm 60. So I'm not making a lot of hormones to build muscle mass and to build bone mass. So I have to hack in other ways and be very conscious of how can I feed my body to get lean muscle mass and to get bones, because it's not as easy as someone who's in 20, 30, 40 years old, after 50 and then at 60. And then they even wanted me to have be on hormone blockers, what I went off of, because they're so damaging. And so, yes, with that being said, my big concern was, can I get enough protein? And they're like, oh, no, so I was tracking my protein. It was very difficult for me to get the amount that I need. And that was a question I had for you too, like for the average person, it might be a little different than a woman that's 60 if you can supplement with hormones, it's wonderful, because you don't have the challenge that those of us that I can't take hormones because of the cancer. But so, yeah, that's why I was doing that with the app. But you're recommending that people do that more so for their carbs, correct?
Yeah, to not go over, exactly. And I agree with you. It's so important that everyone has a customized plan. There's no one size fit all, right? So that's why I recommend using the Chronometer app. It's free, and you go in there and it's called a keto calculator within the app, and you enter your personal details like height, weight, and so on. And if you want to lose weight, and then it will give you your recommended for your body. How many grams of protein, how many grams of carbs, etc. And then you add everything you're eating in there. So then you can add, to answer your question about the snack, you can add, okay, can I have 6 almonds and, within this day and not go over my carb limit? So
awesome. So is that how you, with your clients, do you have them go into that app to figure out kind of specifically for them, as opposed to, my trainers will say, well, you weigh this much and you need this many grams of, protein. They'll just give me something like that, like 87 to 120 grams if I'm on a hard workout day. But you're using the app mostly for your clients.
Yeah, and then customize for the client's lifestyle, because like you said, it's different if you work out and so on.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very good learning exercise for anyone to put in and just learn. Okay, what is it? Because often we eat so mindlessly, right? We just and then we have no idea what it's doing with the body. So putting that in there can be a really good first step. Just get awareness, and also the second step will be to track your ketosis at the same time. So for anyone doing keto, those are the two tips I have. Track your macros, what are you eating, and also track your ketosis with your ketone levels. So basically what's happening when you are succeeding on keto, your body will go into the metabolic state of ketosis when your body is burning fat for energy. And you can track that by checking your blood, and it's just a simple device, just like checking blood glucose, but ketones.
What do you think about the little strips that you pee on in the morning for checking keto?
Yeah, they're not very accurate because they're only showing the excess ketones in the urine. And once your body becomes fat adapted, then it will use the ketones more effectively, and then you're not going to, get an accurate result there. So it could be fine in the beginning, but I recommend getting a ketone meter for accuracy.
So if you've been keto for a while and you've been using the strips, does it read that you're not dropping, or does it read that you are?
Well, it's just not giving you the accurate, because it's not the because when you look checking your breath or your blood, you get the direct, what's happening right now in your body and a number. So that is more accurate. So,
and that's just a little meter we buy online, and I think you can get a dual meter that does glucose and ketones, which I think would be really interesting to see what you're eating and how is it spiking your glucose levels, especially for people that might have, maybe I'm just saying, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes or borderline. Like, look at the food that you're eating and kind of start, right? Like, go, oh, I'm eating this and whoa, my glucose went way up. So, and then try eating that with adding fat to it. I mean, right? I think that, and then we're getting really deep here. So we're going to back up and go back into the basics, because it's so fascinating. But let's talk.
But just to add to that, I mean, I love what you're saying, because I think that is a really, really powerful tool for change, because I know that so many people are struggling with health eating practices. I mean, like I said, I was trying for maybe 10 years before I finally got it, and seeing black on white, as you say, when you see, wow, I'm eating this and my blood sugar is shooting up, like, and knowing what that's doing to the body, then hopefully that will inspire you. And then at the same time, like, when you work hard and you put in the effort for a few days on keto and you don't have to wait long, that's what's exciting. And you see, oh my goodness, I'm in ketosis, it is paying off, and I know something's changing my body, I will lose weight now, then that helps too, right?
That is fantastic. Right. I've been looking at those online over and over and over and thinking, like, which one should I get? Which one should I get? And I haven't gotten one yet, but now you have inspired me, because being a biohacker, as we are, our favorite thing is to test and to quantify. Like, we want to know. I want to see the changes, and I want to see it. I want to see the test, and I want to start here and go there and just keep going up the ladder. So I definitely have to add that to my toolbox of testing and quantifying. So that's a very good tip. Maybe Keto if you Mojo have your favorite Keto Mojo.
Yeah, because that will test both glucose and ketosis.
Beautiful. I was just going to ask you that. So I'll be sure and put that on the repost. They'll put that on there for the Keto Mojo and the website, or the link for that. So my dying burning question is, go ahead.
Sure. Sorry, before I forget, should I just finish the meal plan?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's me. I'm all over the place. I want all the information. Yes, please. We haven't finished eating yet. It's dinner time now. Okay, go.
Yeah, awesome. So to keep it really simple, this might sound boring, but don't get scared off with what I'm going to say now, because you can make keto as complicated or as simple as possible, but I don't want complication to be a hurdle. That's why I want to tell you the simplest thing I can think of. And that is, again, an avocado, and then half a plate with vegetables. So if you had broccoli for lunch, you can have cauliflower for dinner. rock and roll, you know. That's how we like it. And then 2 soft-boiled eggs. And I say soft-boiled because it's also important how you prepare the food. The less impact, the less you damage it, basically. So soft boil is good. And then you can have a dessert. That's a good news as well with keto. You can enjoy yourself, but still lose weight. Yeah.
What are we having for dessert? I love dessert. I do.
Yeah, and wasn't that so amazing when we were at the Bulletproof conference or Biohacking conference in LA last year? The meals they had for us and the dessert that was sugar-free, keto. I mean, I thought it was incredible. As an example, I mean, you can make a chocolate mousse by whipping up some full-fat coconut milk with some raw cacao powder, for instance.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to make some of that today for sure. Okay, delicious. Okay, that is amazing.
Can I please?
Yes, keep going.
Sorry, just answer your other question. You had a question about the berries, the blueberries.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, you're right. It's low in sugar. So fruits, to answer that question, fruits is kind of out of the question on keto because it is high in sugar. And that's one of the most common misperceptions that people think, oh, but fruit is natural. We can, have as many apples as you want. But no, because the sugar is doing the same thing to your body, right? So cut the fruit. Instead, you can have some berries within your daily carb limit, but have them after dinner as dessert to not have your blood sugar be affected by the sugar during the day.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Have them after our dinner. So we've put some fat into our body. We put some protein into it. We're going to eat this dessert, or we're going to eat fruit, let's say, if we're going to have our berries. I do berries with coconut cream. It's a big treat. I'm kind of bad though. I'll take my berries and my coconut cream, and then I take raw almond butter, and then Ceylon cinnamon, and then the cacao powder, and that's my dessert. So I'm probably, if I do the macros on that, I'm probably off the charts. That could be a little bit of that 5 pounds we're talking about, but I'm going to be working really hard after this motivating chat with you to get into ketosis. Really, I'm just super excited about that. So that's fascinating. Yay.
Great. And I love the sound of your dessert. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, you do.
It's important to treat yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a treat.
I love that myself. Yeah.
It's yummy. All those yummy flavors, and everything in there is good for you. I mean, nothing's bad.
Exactly.
So,
and as long as you don't eat 3 kilos of nut butter,
Exactly. So then, I was going to ask you, so let's jump back. Are we ready to go back to the Bulletproof Coffee? Because I am addicted, and I know that you are, because I was your roommate in Beverly Hills, baby. She's like, I gotta have my keto coffee. She's running around with 2 cups of them, all day long. But
those were the days, yeah.
Oh, that was right. We'll be back. So, how much butter do you use? Because I'm kind of freaking out, and I know I asked this question when I was at Bulletproof Labs of somebody, and we've discussed it, but I have to ask it again. Can the butter be causing cellulite? And I talked to the woman from Balancer Pro who does the lymphatic drainage pants, and she said no. And so how much butter do you use? Because I've cut down. I was using not quite a tablespoon, and I've cut down to a sliver because I love the frothy. I love what it does to the coffee. I'm addicted to it. How much do you use in an 8-ounce cup?
Yeah, so first address your question about the cellulite link, the possible cellulite link. So in my understanding, cellulite is just excess fat, right? So that's what happens when we have that excess fat. So I am not aware of any specific food it can be linked to the cellulite. But I think it's the other way around. So if you just eat in a way that will make you lose the extra fat, then you will hopefully lose the cellulite. And drinking butter in your coffee, in your Bulletproof coffee, that will help you do that. So then to answer your question about how much, so just to share with listeners who are not familiar with Bulletproof coffee, first thing I want to say, don't do your cheap version of Bulletproof coffee, which I know a lot of people do. They think it's just taking any kind of coffee and some coconut oil. No. the whole point with Bulletproof Coffee is that it's yeah, exactly. Forget about that. We don't want to be a loser. Bulletproof coffee beans, they are lab tested to be mold free. So they don't give you the side effects that a lot of people get from coffee, like jitters and so on. So you brew that as usual. Then you mix it together with an oil called brain octane, which is converts into ketones in the body. And that's what puts you in ketosis, weight loss mode. And then the third ingredient is you mix it with either grass-fed, which is very important for the quality, butter or ghee. And the official Bulletproof coffee recipe is the maximum dosage is 2 tablespoons of the butter or ghee. And that's what I'm using because the butter gives you vitamins like, I think it's vitamin A and K, possibly.
Wait, yes, it does. It's amazing. You're using 2 tablespoons in an 8-ounce cup? No, 1 tablespoon oil, 1 tablespoon butter.
No, 2 tablespoons of brain octane oil, 2 tablespoons of ghee or butter. Yeah.
In a cup of coffee.
Normal coffee cup.
That's probably like 16 ounces, probably 2 cups.
I just do 1 normal cup of coffee. Yeah.
Wow.
And
because I do 2 cups, 2 8-ounce cups, and I put a tablespoon in each one. So yeah, I'm thinking that's probably about the same.
Sounds like the same.
So when you say brain octane, I know, like I know, because we get confused. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know exactly.
Yeah.
I know. And then, I mean, I actually measure too. I don't measure my butter because it has the little lines on the butter, but I've cut that back a little bit because my mind was freaking me out about it. But now I know, because we also could share with people about the fact that our brain is mostly fat, correct? And if we don't feed our bodies good fat, our brain actually starts drying and shriveling up. Your brain to work and to be healthy needs healthy fats, avocado, the MCT oils or the brain octane oils, things like that. But it's interesting, there's an MCT, an XCT, and a brain octane. What's the difference and what do you recommend? This is fascinating, by the way. I just love this.
Great, I was happy.
Yeah.
So brain octane is a type of MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides. I can hardly pronounce it.
Right.
Something like that. And that is basically acids. It's 100% CH, which is type of acid, which is the highest quality. So that is why that's my preference. And of course, that was the start of my health journey. So I'm very grateful to Bulletproof. I'm very loyal to the brand. But also, putting that aside, I know that there are a lot of cheap brands out there who are just mixing all sorts of shit in their products. And that's why you see these people complaining, oh my God, I'm getting diarrhea from the MCT oil, right? So that's what you don't have to worry about unless you're overdosing. But that's why I'm choosing that. And also to answer your question about the butter, why I'm choosing the maximum 2 tablespoons is because that is how you stay full until lunchtime. And you might not have to in your case, but it's just important to have whatever you need to be full until lunch. And also, you mentioned. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you mentioned wanting to have like more protein and building your bones. Are you mixing collagen in the?
So yes. So I do the peptide collagen for the protein, which is so important for me, for everyone, but for me personally, it's a journey. Get the protein. But I also do the peptides for skin and bone. So I believe I'm doing a 1, 2, or 2, 3, 5 collagen, something, but I have a collagen and I was putting that in both of my coffees. And then, like I said, maybe I'm just at home too much and I'm overthinking it. But I just recently cut the butter down and I thought, well, maybe I'm throwing myself out of ketosis more in the morning because I was adding the protein. So I just, for the last week or so, I thought I'm not going to put the protein in the morning coffee. I'll use the protein later, but I love the protein in there too. I love what it does to my coffee. It froths it up and I blend mine in the big blender. And, I was using the immersion blender, you know how you stick it in but I stuck 2 fingers in it. And I ended up in the emergency room in Valentine's Day. And then last week, 2 weeks ago, I was making a cake and I stuck my finger in the immersion blender again. I know, the cray. So I decided that it must be possessed and I put it in the drawer. Anyway, that was just a little aside. So I used the blender and it's fantastic. So, so what do you recommend? Do you recommend the protein powder in the coffee in the morning? Do you do that?
I do. I use collagen, but I think you have a very good point that too much protein can kick you out of ketosis. And that's why I'm excited for you to get the ketone meter so you can measure and then you can see black and white, how it's affecting you and you can biohack your way to your best number. Yeah. Instead
of me just kind of guessing every day and thinking it's the butter, it's the protein, it's this. So because I thought, well, maybe I should slow down on the coffees, but I love it so much. I get up in the morning and I make an 8-ounce glass of cold ozone water and I drink that on an empty stomach. So I'm cleansing out parasites and doing all kinds of stuff that way. And then I make my coffee and I absolutely love it. So I'm thrilled that you shared all that information about that. And so I'm just going to look at our questions because there may be on the other screens just anything we have right now. I need to share this with my cousin. She's eating keto but suffers terribly from hives. Could there be a connection to keto and hives?
Hives, I haven't had any client with issues with that, so I haven't heard about that. But there is definitely. I mean, I'm curious if she's in the beginning of a keto journey, because when you go into this new metabolic state of ketosis that I mentioned before, which has very exciting health benefits like the automatic weight loss, but it is a very powerful thing you're doing to the body. And while the body is getting adjusted to that, that's when you can get symptoms called keto flu. So that can be things like energy crashes, headaches, sleep issues, and that's when most people give up when they're doing keto on their own, unfortunately, because it's uncomfortable. But normally, it's safe and you will get through it. And on the other side, you will have the slim
all the benefits
body and feeling amazing.
Super. Okay, so I am again at home and there's too much information out there and I'm really into my supplements and things like that. It's a big journey for me, for my health. And I came across this Keto Before 6. And this is by a company called Quicksilver Scientific. And I won't go there right now. I love their products. But I bought this.
They were at a conference. I
remember
were
that.
They? Yeah. They tested ketosis for everyone.
And I must have missed that. There's so much. Well, I recently started taking a lot of their products, like their vitamin DK and their glutathione, the CoQ10. It's a liposomal nano product. So when you put it in your mouth, you hold it and it's absorbed in your mouth, down your throat, in your stomach lining, so your acids aren't attacking. Whereas when you take a tablet, you may be losing a lot of your supplements, your acid stuff, maybe eating it before you get the benefit. But I saw this on their website, and this would be considered a nootropic. Is that right? And what do you think about, I recently read about it on their website and I got it. And in my mind, I was thinking, well, this means if I eat a loaf of bread, yummy bread, if I take this, it's going to keep me in ketosis. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. Not that I would ever eat a loaf of bread, but if I decided to have a piece of cake, whatever. So I got it and then I read it and it said, take 20 minutes before every meal or twice a day before your meal. And I thought, well, and it's very expensive. So I thought, well, that's a lot. And if I'm not having carbs, why would I take it? So I recently reached out to the company and I'm waiting to hear back. He says, I don't understand the product. What am I supposed to be doing with it? But we know there's a lot of nootropics out there. What are your thoughts on nootropics and keto, and do we need them?
That's a great question. I love that. So was this exogenous ketones?
This has ketones. It has
because it's going to make you put you into ketosis. Is that correct?
Yeah, supposed on-demand keto is what it's stating on the bottle, and it's basically a proprietary blend of phospholipids from sunflower seed. I mean, no, and all that. Lots of milk thistle seed. Oh, resveratrol. That's good. That's a fantastic anti-aging.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So, but again, would it a nootropic? I was just helping my sister and working with her, and she started taking a product like this by tablet form, and she feels like it's really helped her. But I want to know what your thoughts are for someone starting out on keto. Do you recommend they get a nootropic, or is it more just another thing that gets too confusing? What are your thoughts? Just what are your thoughts, Alexia?
Yeah, so nootropic, what's the that things like like the modafinil and the others. What's a simpler word for nootropic? I'm just thinking for like if we have beginners listening. I can't remember now, but okay, let's say I think that the relevant what many people wonder when they start keto is if they, because there are a lot of marketing companies, multi-level marketing companies trying to sell, it's called exogenous ketones, which is you basically take a product and you put the ketones into your body to get you into ketosis quicker. Yeah.
But you still have to not take carbs.
Yeah, so, but I think you have a very interesting point, what you were saying, because exactly what you said there is what many people are thinking. Oh, if I take this, I can cheat with, a bit of carbs and so on. So my first thought is that keto to me is not a diet as such. It's a natural way of eating, the way that humans are meant to be eating. We evolved that way. So we don't need anything, man-made to do this. And we definitely don't need to waste money on any products to get into ketosis. So I think it's very I want to get out of that mindset of like pills and all of that, like just eat naturally. But then there's another discussion with nootropics and supplements and all that, and as biohackers we love that, right? And I do, but that's different from if you are doing keto to lose weight and get healthy. That I think that my approach is do that from just eating naturally, like I shared before. Bulletproof coffee, broccoli, fish, eggs, etc. So simple. Don't overcomplicate it. But then if you look at these exogenous ketones that they are selling, and I'm not mentioning any products. And by the way, that company. I'm a big fan of all companies that are in the Biohacking conference. I'm sure they have excellent products.
Yeah, their products are amazing. This is just something I didn't need, but I thought, truthfully, it was a cheating product.
Yeah.
It's like, I ate too many carbs. I better have my keto before 6 or whatever it's called, keto before 6. So thank you for that. That is not the truth.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's great for other things, just that particular, but just in general, because I remember when I was in Dubai and this salesperson came to the clinic and she was trying to sell me these exogenous ketones, and she said, oh, it's amazing, I ate, and she showed me pictures of, I ate this cake before and I tested my ketones and I'm in ketosis. I'm like, okay, that's great, but she had the widest ass I've ever seen. And I'm like, what is the point then?
It's the real people.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
So then it's just, ketosis, if it's just a number, it doesn't give you anything. Like the whole point of being in ketosis is to burn excess fat. You're not getting any gold stars for just like putting ketones in your body, right?
Right.
It doesn't work that way. So, and it can actually be, I think it's super dangerous for people to take those products and think, oh, I'm fine, I'm in ketosis, and then eat lots of shitty junk food. That is what we need to stop doing. And also coming back to your fear about eating lots of fat, I just have one thing to say there, that like you said, I agree, fat is so important, like brain function, like your brain was switched on. However, you need to do keto properly. You need to do up the fats and take down the carbs, but you can't do this half thing, like start the day with bulletproof coffee with lots of fat and then you have a pasta for lunch, because fat and carbs together that's a disaster for health and weight. So that's my warning.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. You know what? I was just going to say, you are amazing. And I'm so excited. Seriously, because like I said, I mean, I have the books, I have the Bulletproof, the Keto Diet book over there, and I have the chart to shop with, but it's really interesting. You can read the book and I highlight and whatever, but it's different when you're talking to someone that knows and has worked with so many people that are in so many different lifestyles, right? They're, men, women, ages. So absolutely fascinating. I mean, I'm going to tell you, you're the first keto coach. And even though we were roommates, you guys, we didn't talk about keto because we were so busy just biohacking and doing all this new stuff, right?
Yeah, partying with Dr. Mercola, right?
Yeah, we love Dr. Mercola. Yes. Oh my God. We had so much fun.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I learned so much at the biohacking conference. Yeah, definitely. And so we didn't talk a lot about keto. And for me, I typically don't have weight to lose. So it's not the foremost in my mind. And I eat like you eat. That's how I eat, right? But then sometimes, like right now, I will say that I'm up 5 pounds. I don't know. I know a few, but maybe 3 of it was muscle mass, lean muscle mass before all of this started happening. And but I can see how some of it's fat too. And 5 pounds doesn't sound like much, but I'm only 5'4". So I think, I'll just throw myself in ketosis for a week. But I like more of what everything else is that you're saying about the lifestyle, and then bringing in the carbs once a week. It's beautiful. And I know that so many of us have weight to lose at different times in our lives. And it's challenging, because I will say, even if I get up 8 pounds, I'm like, oh my God, 8 pounds, right? Like, you're just mentally. So if it's 20, if it's 10, 15, 20 or more, you kind of want to do something, but you also kind of just want to give up. It's easier not to do anything because it's frustrating. So you're amazing. Like, I love this information. Love it. I can't hear you. Talk to me. I lost you. Can you hear me? Yeah? Can you hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you. Okay. We lost sound on our beautiful guest. Uh-oh, she's gone. Maybe she's going to dial back in and pop back in, but I just want to say that she's amazing. And again, the first time I've actually had an in-depth conversation with a real live successful, I can't hear you now either. You're not muted. Okay. Since I can't hear you and I don't know how to fix it, I want you to sit there and look beautiful. And I'm going to tell people about you for a moment, okay? That was what I was doing. So this is the first conversation that I've had strictly about keto with a real live, successful, international keto coach. And I'm so happy that she's my friend as well. So we can talk about a lot of other things, clearly. But it was my pleasure to bring her to my listeners and to share her knowledge. And her link will be put up on the repost of this, and this will be on YouTube. So you will all be able to get a hold of her. If you have questions, if you're watching on a replay, please put your questions in the comments and we'll get back to you and we'll answer them because we love doing that. And we love all of you. And I love you so much, my blessed Alexia. Have a gorgeous day in Costa Rica. And I am sorry about the sound. Okay. And this is bye. And we'll be going live soon again. I'm not sure when, but I'll let everyone know. Okay. Thank you, doll. Bye.